right, so I've got some work to do with my E30. I'm in a bit of a holding pattern, waiting for some parts to come in to work on my rust repair, but I still wanted to get in the garage and do something. So I went ahead and picked up a can of Wrinkle black paint, and I'm gonna go through and paint my valve cover. This is something that I wanted to do for a long time, but just never really took the time to do it. I like the look of the black valve cover with the fins on the top, I guess polished. So that's what I'm gonna be trying today. This is all just gonna be done here in the garage. No oven to bake it, but I will be using my heat gun to try to add a little bit more of the wrinkle texture to it. So with that, it's time to get the valve cover off, clean it up, and start painting. So there's really not much to the valve cover. One hose for me, and then I think it's 8 bolts around it, and it should just come right out. Put this back on so we don't lose it. Should just slide out. There we go. Everything looks pretty good down there. Time to clean this up a little bit. At one point last year, I did spray, I think just brake clean on this to try to clean it. Today we're gonna come through with some Fast Orange, and hopefully a toothbrush is enough to get it, but if not, I should have a wire brush nearby to really attack whatever grime's left on here. It is getting some chunks off. So this could definitely be more clean, but I've spent a little over half an hour just scrubbing it with different compounds, different brushes, and overall I'm happy with it. I think the paint should be able to stick to whatever grime's left on it. So now I'm just going to go through and put a little bit of painter's tape over some of the holes just to make sure that no paint gets in them when I start spraying. Nothing left to do but to spray it. I really only closed this top hole, these 2 little ones, and then the cap hole. These other ones are through without any threads in it, so I figured if I do get any paint in it, I can always just use a wire brush and clean out the insides. These have threads and don't go all the way through, and then this one's to the inside, so we cap that one off, and obviously that one, we need our oil cap to seal on it. Got some tape on there. I'm gonna spray it. I think I'm gonna do 3 coats in total. It recommends 3, doing kind of one direction, a second direction, and then a third direction. So we'll see. Looks like 1 coat, we got most of it. All right, I would imagine I need to add a lot more heat than what I just did. All right, there's for sure some spots that I missed, so I gotta get closer on this edge, and really I'm trying to focus on getting everything in the middle. So we'll see. Some of that looks like I was just pushing paint down to glob it up more, but we'll do 1 more coat and see what we get. So that's the 3rd coat there. I've finished that and I've applied the heat to it. And it's actually super interesting because you can start to see the wrinkle and the ripples show up this early. I'm gonna let it cure overnight. It recommends putting it through a heat cycle, but I don't have an oven available for the part, so I might hit it with longer heat tomorrow, and then I'll go ahead and I guess polish and remove the paint from the fins on top, and then that should be our final product at that point. So as is, the part has kind of cured overnight. Overall, probably not as good as I was expecting. You might be able to see, like, in this corner, there's just some irregularities, I would say. And then I think in this top corner, there might be some. I like the wrinkle texture overall, but I think there's just too many spots where it's a little off. Maybe able to see a little bit more of the irregularities with the light shining in at this angle, but I'm still going to go through and remove the paint off the fins and the BMW letters in the middle, and then see if I can get that polished up, just to see if maybe some extra contrast there will redeem the part. Either way, I'm going to put it back on the car, but it's just how good does it look in the end. So to start off, to remove this, I'm just going to use this razor blade, and it actually slides a lot easier than I expected to pull the paint off. Maybe not with my left hand, but it'll just go off the top, get everything. We'll do a few passes of this, probably come back with sandpaper or something to get it a little bit better. So yeah, now we just got to work through. Well, it does look better with the top part cleaned off and polished a little bit. Can still be shinier, cleaner, whatever, but overall, I think that is what I was going for. I don't know, again, if my mishaps were done due to too much heat, not enough heat, too much paint, but there's definitely some flaws in it. Even when I was trying to sand this bit down, you can see I touched where I wasn't supposed to a little bit, but I think that's where it's going to stay. Maybe someday, if I ever get a powder coating set up, I'll try it again with powder coat. But for a quick in the garage job, I think it does what I wanted it to. So there it is, the finished product on the table. Got to get it back in the car to see how it looks. I think it's going to look pretty good next to the carbon fiber plenum on my ITBs. This wasn't a very hard thing to do. You can see that I still made a few flaws, and it could probably be a bit of a better job. But overall, I'm happy with how it turned out. And with that, another quick job done with my E30. I think coming up next, I'm going to start diving into some of my rust repairs. So stay tuned for that, and thanks for watching.